I think right now my mental health is pretty grounded and under control. I think, like probably like most people, I had a lot of trouble with quarantine, and like for me, quarantine was like, and is still occurring. It is like forced depression. Like we were all forced to stay inside. We were all forced to separate from each other. We were all forced to deal with it on our own. And there was that missing piece of our lives where seeing friends, engaging with people, hearing another human being laugh near you. Those things were kind of taken away from us in a way. So for me, this year has been a pretty big struggle. Even before, I'd say this entire year from the beginning of January, I have been struggling, with my job that I was at previously. And then, going into quarantine, through all that, relationship ending, there was a lot to it. I definitely personally feel like I've got my feet under myself again. I've observed, what quarantine kind of pushed me to, how I behaved in that stillness, in extended stillness. What does that look like, and what happens there? And so I definitely feel like things are good for me right now. But that can fluctuate and that can change. And I think that's obviously for anyone. Mental health is moment to moment, day by day. Hands down, but for me right now, things seem to be at least under control. There's a lot that has built my mental health, and I think that's obvious. That's not novel. That's not a unique kind of experience. A lot of it, I can see the seeds that were planted like in my childhood with my parents splitting up. Like not understanding what that was like as I don't know, I was like 2 or 3, maybe, yeah, maybe 4 at the most. And through no fault of anyone's, like, how do you have this conversation with a child of that age? But I didn't understand what was happening. And then, my family was torn apart and then brought back together. A new family brought together with my step siblings and my stepmom. Very disorienting for me, and then being the youngest of a fair amount of, my 3 siblings are all pretty extroverted to a degree, or at least, I don't know. I was just like, I was the 4th one coming along, and I was very quiet, and I was in my own worlds, and I was kind of just left to that, which was fine. Like, I don't think I missed out on anything, but I was just became more and more comfortable in my own worlds, in my own space, and with my own thoughts, which I'm very grateful for. Like, I'm very happy that I'm an introspective and reflective person, but at the same time, there's challenges that come with that, whether it's the things that we think and say about ourselves. If you're your only, companion, and self-love isn't necessarily, in your wheelhouse, the way that you talk, the way you think and communicate with yourself can get pretty grim, at least in my experience. So, like the key words, I guess, that I would use for what defined my mental health would be like attachment, isolation, again, self-hatred. That was a thing that, like, when my therapist first asked me, what is your, like, what is your sense of self-love? What sort of self-love do you feel for yourself? It was like she was talking in a foreign language. I did not understand what she was saying. It was like self-love, like, I'm comfortable with myself. I tolerate myself. There was no sense of like attachment and connection to myself. So that was a big part of it. That's a constant struggle, I think, tending to the things that we say about ourselves, tending to, again, how we think about ourselves, kind of keeping that in check, I think is super important, and one of those things that I kind of have to keep on top of. And like I said, spinning back to attachment, that's been a real struggle for me, like understanding and knowing, I guess, how people feel about me or about a situation. As soon as that starts to become unstable at all, I can like easily kind of lose my cool. So in romantic relationship, obviously that can present a lot of problems. Even in friendships, that can present a lot of problems. And it's difficult, attachment, connection, love. These are, challenging topics to say the least. But yeah, I would say those are the major, the pillars of the temple of my mental health. As far as like keeping my mental health elevated, keeping myself going, keeping myself afloat, I have a lot of tricks, I think. A wide spectrum of like things that I can do, things that I can engage with. I sort of see, I like to look at, energy levels of mind, body, spirit. So we have three batteries in our body: emotional battery, a physical battery, and a spiritual battery. At any given time, those three batteries can be independently wherever, with whatever charge level. So for me, I like to kind of observe, if I can, where those batteries are, where that charge level is, how depleted they are, and sort of use that information to figure out what I can do to uplift and nourish my, just my state of mind. So for spiritual batteries, I might watch something, a television show that's, really funny, or a movie that I know is going to make me cry, that has like a really powerful scene, where the score swells at just the right moment, something that will just hit me in a way in which this, release will happen. Going for a walk, being outside, climbing, physicality is super nourishing to me now that I've sort of changed my relationship with those ideas and like what it means. Yoga as well. These things are really, I think, easy for me to integrate into daily life in such a way that can kind of keep those things in check. Physical batteries are obviously a lot more manageable and more, I think those are the ones we're obviously tuned into without any sort of training. How, when your body's tired, when you're hungry or whatever. But even some things like, being really tired after a long day at work and taking a really nice long hot shower can recharge the physical batteries a little bit, or calm us down enough to be able to relax and let the physical batteries recharge. And then emotional batteries, the distinction between spiritual and emotional batteries, like, I don't necessarily know if I have the words to really, make those differences clear. But, like talking to people obviously is a huge part of that. Talking to people about emotions, being around people, hearing someone laugh, especially if it's like something we've said, obviously that's a huge emotional little boost. Talking to people that we love. Those are the sorts of things that I really try and do. But meditation, tarot, engaging with my spirituality, engaging with my connection to the unknown, my connection to the divine. It's really enriching and fulfilling. So yeah, anything like that I can sort of squeeze into my space. Dancing, singing, listening to really good music. I think there's a lot of, like, whether they're active or passive activities, there's a lot of things that I can sort of use to kind of ride the wave a little bit. I think I would tell him, you know, um, it's okay that you don't fit in right now. It's okay that you don't necessarily understand people, that you find it difficult to communicate. Like, that's okay. I would want him to know, like there are things that you're struggling with, that it's okay. You're gonna continue to struggle with them, but it's okay. Like, for me, that was a lot of my struggle, was thinking that there was something wrong with me and telling myself there was something wrong with me for such a long time. Really allowing that feedback loop to grow and generate a lot of momentum. And encouraging him to, love the things you love. Doesn't matter if it makes you weird. Doesn't matter what people think about it. Your originality, your truth will be much more valuable than any sort of, like, mold or form that you could put yourself into. And yeah, encouraging him to just keep at it, and just be yourself. Stop running from yourself. Be who you are. Doesn't mean you have to find your voice right away, but try and use your voice. If I could take facts as well, encourage him. You're gonna find your place. You're gonna find your people. You are going to, you will fit in one day, and while fitting in, you're gonna be a weirdo as well. Like, so it's gonna be okay.